small 5-minute session. So I would like to go some troubleshooting techniques in PostgreSQL, right? So here all of you are mostly, I thought, experienced guys, so you know how to handle issues in PostgreSQL. But I'm not pointing you, but the freshers or who are just recently start practicing PostgreSQL, that will be made helpful for them. Okay. So if you go for PostgreSQL, the error messages which will display on any issues, it will very clear. So if you start reading that error message and you understand what it is pointing out, then it's clear. So you go to that particular target and solve that issue. So understanding error message is very important key point here. So the error verbosity also you can increase using the configuration parameters and all. And gather information. So if you face any issues, you have to first gather the information. So from which point, for example, let's say my replication is being lagged. I don't know why it is being lagged, right? You will go to the PgStat replication and you find there is a lag is there, but you don't know why it was actually lagged. So you have to gather the information first, from which point you go to the Postgres logs and see is there any errors or displaying in the logs of streaming standby servers. And in one case, what I observe is one query was running for a long time on the standby, and it's causing some warning in the master server. So it's not related to the any. It's not being, the error message also not displaying you that there is some queries running in the standby server. And I just posted that particular message. I posted in the Postgres community. Okay. Then I posted that query in Postgres community. I then came to know that there is some queries running on the standby server. Then we go and find out that one query is running from a long time, and we just cancel that query, and we just in the master we get rid of that warning message. So gathering information is very important here, and also the efficient logging, which I has already told you in the error verbosity. And Postgres is not giving you a lot of problems when you compare to the application coding. So the developers write coding in a way that it causes problems in the database. Mostly, in some cases, the idle transactions will cause you a lot of issues because improper coding, right? So in previous 15.2, in the earlier of the 15 versions, to find which query is causing problem with the idle transaction, it is very difficult to know. You have to set the log min duration statement to 0, and you have to log all the statements to find it out. But whereas in the 15 version, they introduced log transaction sample rate. This will cause you, if you set this value to 1.0, the default is 0.0, it's disabled. So if you enable this to 1.0, then it will display all the idle transaction queries in your logs. So from the begin to commit, all transactions will be, all the queries in the transaction are being displayed in the log file. So using that, you can find it out. So if a transaction, so let's say for example, there are 10 queries are being fired in the transaction, right? And from 5th transaction to 6th transaction, for example, it's causing delay. Then you can find out that the 5th query is being a problem for this transaction. So there we are getting idle transaction. So there we can go ahead and inform the developer to solve this issue, and you can find it out there. And you can solve this particular idle transaction issues. Okay, and this is all from me. Thank you. Timeout is different. That will kill the idle transaction, but that's not a solution. But finding out the exact query which is causing idle transaction, fix that will go. Thank you. That's what I told you. Terminating idle transaction is not the solution. No, terminating is not the right way. Because if you terminate the particular transaction, that will be rolled back.